Here are some fantastic fall fragrances for men that will make you smell crazy good. We are going from mass appealing, slightly warm scents to sweet complicated fragrances to fantastic woody scents and more. Hi, welcome. I'm gonna show you 12 fantastic fall fragrances for men. But before we begin, please drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it, and make sure you hit that subscribe. So first up, a gorgeous scent that I bought not long ago. I'm really looking forward to wearing this more. I'm gonna link to my Armani Stronger With You Amber first impressions above, so feel free to check it out. This at its core is Stronger With You, sort of a signature vanilla that you can find across the line, together with an amped up dose of lavender and a bit of ambery warmth and shine. So smoothly vanillic, ambery, with a bit of sort of a freshness from the lavender. So intensely ambery scents are quite often sort of a deep and heavy. But what I really like about Stronger With You Amber is that this is really not that. So I feel it's almost like the perfect fall fragrance, because this is not too sort of a light and it's not too heavy in any way. Stronger With You Amber has solid performance with good projection and longevity. This is, however, not beast mode. Absolutely gorgeous and perfect for fall. So from Stronger With You's ambery vanilla with lavender to another scent with quite a prominent dose of lavender, but one that's quite different. Rehab is a spicy and woody scent with a focus on a very smooth sandalwood and lavender. At the base you have this soft and sort of a slightly warm musk, adding a bit of richness to it all. This is intoxicating, at least to me, and this is probably one of my absolute favorites right now from Initio. Beautiful smooth woodiness with a bit of aromatic brightness and freshness, and everything resting on top of that musk. Rehab is almost like a lighter and less sort of a spicy intense version of Spice Bomb, without the tobacco and the sweetness, and instead sort of a woody and musky with the freshness of lavender. They are so different, but Rehab does have Spice Bomb vibes while being a different kind of scent. Not too light, definitely not too heavy, a great fragrance for fall. Performance is a bit above average when it comes to projection, and the longevity is decent. Rehab is, however, definitely not a beast mode kind of fragrance. Moving on to something that's very different and also something that's quite unique. This is the OG L'Homme from Guerlain, and it has that fantastic signature L'Homme almond note together with a touch of freshness on a woody and vanillic base with a hint of leather. This is probably the most sort of a balanced of them all, with a prominent dose of that smooth almond and a bit of sweetness to it. I really don't think this is super sweet. I mean, I think both the Eau de Parfum and the Extreme are way sweeter. And that sweetness is almost perfectly balanced with its smooth woodiness and the vanilla. The EDT is absolutely perfect for fall, and this is definitely a fragrance that stands out with its uniqueness. Projection is a bit above average, and it does get noticed within like the first hour or so, but after that it definitely sits closer to your skin. That almond scent does stay quite a while though. So I know some feel that powder fragrances are only reserved for winter, but I think it really depends on the overall sort of composition of the scent. This is without a single doubt one of the very best fragrances Prada ever released. And to me it's a primarily powder scent that's soft, ambery and woody with smooth vanilla and a hint of leather. Everything in this takes a backseat to its powderiness. It has sandalwood, it is a bit warm ambery, it is vanillic, and it has a bit of leather. But it's primarily powdery, and at least to me, its powderiness is not of the sort of a heavy and thick kind. But it's not super light either, which to me makes it a great choice for fall. I believe it was like 2 years ago or so. This was supposed to have been discontinued, and I freaked out because I absolutely love it and bought a backup bottle of it, and yeah, what happened? Absolutely nothing. If you enjoy powdery scents, then I can highly recommend this for fall. I know some get beast mode performance out of Prada L'Homme Intense, but on me it's somewhere around strong. Moving on to a fantastic scent within the scent line. So I think that the scent line from Hugo Boss is an extremely underrated one, and there are some absolute bangers in that line. The whole line pretty much focuses on the maninka note with its unique fruitiness. And this sort of pushes that fruitiness to the front with an intense dose of ginger on a base of vetiver. So this is intensely fruity but not sweet, with a prominent dose of spicy freshness from ginger on top of vetiver, which as it dries down gives it a bit of woodiness that's a bit earthy. This is not super earthy or sort of earthy in an intense way, but it does have a bit of earthiness to it. The scent Absolute is a fantastic fragrance, and it's a great choice for fall, and quickly comparing it to some of my other fragrances in the line, this definitely has more of that gorgeous maninka fruitiness. So if you absolutely love that stuff, then this is for you. This is absolutely perfect for fall. When it comes to performance, this is not as strong as the Elixir, but this is probably more on the same level as Magnetic. So if you want Magnetic, then I think you can probably expect the sort of the same performance out of this one. From one kind of fruitiness to another, they are very different though. Let's bring a bit of sort of a tropical sexiness to fall with Le Beau Parfum. So whereas the OG Le Beau is a mix of freshness and sweetness with coconut that's perfect for summer, the warmer and sort of a fuller Le Beau Parfum is great for other seasons. I mostly reach for Le Beau Parfum fall, spring and summer night outs. This is fresh and fruity with ginger and pineapple in the opening, and woody and sweet with vanilla and coconut in the dry down. Smells absolutely fantastic, a great choice for fall and pretty much a must if you love sexy sweet scents with a focus on vanilla and coconut. Out of all the Le Beaux, this is definitely the one that truly shines when it gets a bit colder. Performance is definitely quite good with Le Beau Parfum. From one men's fragrance with a bit of sort of a tropical vibe to another, they are however very different. It's one of the 1 million fragrances that I think smells great for both fall and spring. 1 million Parfum is basically a sweet floral and a woody scent with a bit of smooth leather and a salty and ambery touch. The floral side of it and that sort of a saltiness together with the smooth leather and the amber is so sexy. This has a bit of sort of a tropical vibe to it, but I do not consider this to be refreshing. It has a fantastic depth to it without being a too heavy or deep kind of scent. Perfect for fall or spring and a gorgeous flanker. I really need to do a proper comparison of all the 1 millions, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the Parfum. Do you like it or not? Performance of this is actually really good and only improved over time. I'm getting great projection and it does take quite a while on my skin. So I pretty much always rotate through the different fragrances in the Gentleman line from Givenchy, and the next one is one I mostly reach for fall and spring. It's powdery like most of the others in the line, and it's also woody like most of the others in the line, but to me it has a richer kind of woodiness. And also what really sets it apart is the cacao. Slightly warm, smooth woodiness with an intense dose of spices and the cacao adding a bit of richness to it all. It's not as sort of loud and warm as Reserve Privé. It doesn't have the sweetness of the Eau de Parfum, and it's not as fresh as the EDT Intense. It's like the perfect one for fall. And if you never tried any of the Gentleman fragrances from Givenchy, then I can highly recommend giving them a sniff. This has that sort of a signature powderiness of the line in a woody and spicy blend. Performance wise, this has about average or so projection. While the longevity is decent, this is not a beast mode kind of scent. So the next two are both my fragrances for life, and first up is one I talked so much about before, so I'm gonna keep this short. Spicy fresh opening, which goes into a mid that's a mix of woodiness and lavender, and a dry down that's a mix of sweetness and soft spiciness with Parfums de Marly's sexy sort of a signature vanilla and a bit of woodiness. I know some feel that Layton is absolute trash, but I think it's absolutely epic, and I also think it's a great choice as a fall fragrance. When it comes to performance, I quite frequently get comments saying that the different PDMs have been watered down. Now, when it comes to the fragrances I bought like years ago, I've never had any issues when it comes to performance, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the performance of the different sort of PDMs, and especially Layton. My next fragrance for life is one I used to have a 75 ml of and recently bought a new bottle of. This, as it dries down, becomes an ambery and warm scent with a focus on vanilla and patchouli, and with a soft woodiness, spiciness and sweetness to it. There's a floral touch to it with rose, but this to me is more of a masculine kind of rose, and it never takes over the scent. Tuxedo, despite being quite an ambery and warm scent with a focus on vanilla and patchouli, never becomes too deep or too heavy. It has this sort of an airiness or freshness to it that does keep it a bit on the sort of a lighter side of things. However, Tuxedo definitely has a bit of depth to it. I absolutely love Tuxedo, and I think this is a great fall fragrance. It is, however, very expensive, and as an alternative, there's Rochas Moustache. They are definitely not 100% the same, but Rochas Moustache absolutely has quite strong Tuxedo vibes. And this is absolutely crazy because this I paid about 28 bucks for 75 ml, which is insane. Love Tuxedo, and both Tuxedo and Rochas Moustache are great choices for fall. None of these are beast mode with a sort of an average projection, but both last quite a while. So next up is a leather scent, but a leather scent with a twist. It's basically incense, leather and vanilla with a very prominent dose of plum. It's a very soft and smooth kind of leather that's basically covered in the fruity sweetness of plum on top of vanilla. The smokiness of incense is the most intense in the opening, which is actually my least favorite part of it, but as it dries down, it becomes a lot smoother. And the scent changes to a soft and sweet leathery and vanillic blend. The dry down, absolutely fantastic and very sexy. It's like a mix of class and elegance with a dose of sexiness, and I think this is a great choice for fall. When it comes to performance, Van Cleef and Arpels rarely makes them strong, unfortunately, and Orchid leather is definitely not a strong one, but it's not weak either. Average or slightly above average, and I do recommend spraying more to get a more noticeable scent cloud. So I talked about Stronger With You Amber earlier, and the next fragrance is also an amber focused scent. However, they are very different. This has a bit of Acqua di Parma, sort of a signature citrusy freshness in the opening that's a bit on the bitter side. And the dry down is intensely woody and amber with a bit of soft warm musk. Ambra has that Acqua di Parma classiness to it, but it also has a softer animalic side to it, which sort of creates contrast and adds an edgy and exciting vibe to it. Sexy amberness with classy woodiness and a bit of soft warm musk. This is a great fall fragrance if you love ambery scents, and I can highly recommend using it for layering as well if you want to add a dose of amberness to something else. When it comes to performance, this is somewhere between average and strong. Noticeable scent cloud for the first couple of hours, then it starts to sit closer to my skin. Longevity is pretty good though. So there you go, fantastic fall fragrances for men. Now I would absolutely love to know if you tried any of them and your thoughts on them, and I would also love to know which fragrances are you looking forward to wearing this fall. Like this video, thank you, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.